I'm Lucy Barlow, founder of Barlow and Barlow Design, and the Sheer Luxe team are here in my flat looking at stylistic decisions my husband and I have made over the years that you guys might be interested in. I bought this house in 2011 with my brother. Whatever had happened to it, it was in really bad shape, but we saw that it had potential. We saw that it had outside space, which is what we wanted, and it was kind of the right size. We love it. I call my house my sketchbook. It's like a collection of everything that we've got along the way, ideas you'd like to try but you wouldn't do for a client. And then, of course, I'm operating on a massively small budget in comparison to the clients I work for. You know, so it's all very done by hand, like between us, and I suppose that's a reflection of our character. I love playing around with his wallpapers. If you're not wanting to commit to the full-on sort of sitting room, reception room, whatever it is, wallpaper, guest bedrooms, little hallways, downstairs loos, places like that. So fun, there's so many amazing wallpapers. It's a brilliant way to bring in print and colour into your house. This is one of my favourite fabrics. It's by an Italian fabric company called Colourful, and it's called Marley, and it's an absolute classic. It's been in their collection for God knows how many years. It's super durable and really practical. We entertain a lot, people coming and going, and so anything that was super fragile would not work here. These little animal heads I absolutely adore. I actually found in Oxfam on Notting Hill Gate. I think they're Madagascan. Pineapple is my logo, so you will see that there are pineapples popping up everywhere, actually. Bit of a house colour combo for us is green and pink. It can't fail to make me certainly feel happy. We rented a flat when my brother was living here, Portobello. I can't remember why we decided we needed a zebra, but we did. And so we found this guy, Sebastian, and he has come everywhere with us. This is a leather tiger that I got at Lots Road for next to nothing. I saw him, I was pretty sure no one else would probably want him. I put in a really low bid and got it. I love animal print, as you can probably tell, in all different shapes and sizes. A friend's, I want to say uncle or something, she said at the time that we built the house in 2011, she said that he made tables and he'd make whatever you want. And so I sent him this design. I really wanted some nice turned legs, but I wanted it to be a bright colour and to have a zinc top. Doing everything to an industrial finish is amazing if you're on a budget, because it basically means not doing things. The banquette seat in the lacquer green, doing this pink and green thing that I love. This is one of my favourite leopard, so I know basically every leopard print there is on the market in terms of fabrics from the suppliers that we use, and this is probably one of my all-time favourite leopard linens, which is Ralph Lauren. These lovely chairs, 1950s Italian, they were in a set of 8 and I put them into a development, but the developer decided that it was too busy with 8, and so he said, take 2 away. So we actually split up the set, which is really not what I would ever recommend doing, but it meant that I did get a pair of these lovely 1950s Italian chairs, which I must say I absolutely adore. This art is in homage to our love of Rome and a bit to do with our wedding. I discovered them through a friend of mine who's an art curator with a brilliant company called Projects on Walls. And then another very successful girl in the art world is Georgie Spray, who does partnership editions, and she looks after some brilliant artists like Rose Electra Harris, who did this one, which Josh got me for my birthday last year. And this is Jonathan Schofield, who's the creative director, I want to say, of Paul Smith, who Georgie has under her kind of partnership editions brolly. This is one of my favourites, which is a wedding present from our best friends who got Hugo Guinness to do that especially, and with the date of our wedding, which is lovely. And we went for our honeymoon in Lake Como. In every successful room and every successful scheme, you've got that kind of big ticket item, that wow factor, that talking point. You can spend on an item that really is the showcase of that room, and then you can match that in with more affordable pieces. We went for the stainless steel kitchen and wanted to do a concrete top. And so I looked on the internet and found a company I thought I could afford. It turned out that this guy was an absolute scam artist, and I don't think had ever done one before in his life. Came down, took my money, disappeared, but did leave us with about 3 bits of broken concrete worktop, which we managed to piecemeal together to create this worktop. But what's interesting is when anyone who knows about poured concrete now comes and sees this, no one can work out how he achieved this finish, which actually everybody loves, including myself. The movement that he's managed to create in this worktop is extraordinary, and no one has any idea how he did it or if he'd ever be able to do it again. As everyone will know these days, in these sad times we live in, what is the first thing that people ask as soon as they step foot in your flat? What's your Wi-Fi code? So I thought, let's nip this in the bud. This was one of the selling points of the flat, because obviously everyone hopes you'll find somewhere with outside space. In London, that is harder achieved than in other places in the world, but we did. We managed to find this little patch of land, which we can call our own, which we rather extravagantly refer to as the courtyard. My mother, who is super artistic and a bit of a hero, came down one day because I said, I don't want to just paint the walls, I want it to be sort of a paint effect. You know, very like that, very sort of 80s when they were all busy sponging on paint onto walls. I was like, I kind of want that. And she was like, don't worry, I think I know how to do it. And so she came down and did this, and I'm not joking, about 3 hours, and then just got back on the train and went home. I mean, this was like 6 years ago, and I still think it looks fantastic. I always wanted this Mediterranean vibe. It's actually how I met my now husband, is that he was introduced to me on the basis that he could help me with this little bit of garden, because I knew how to do the interiors, but I didn't know how to do the outside. I knew what I wanted, but I didn't know how to achieve it. And so he was introduced to me, and the rest, as they say, is history. He and I went to Kempton and we found this old crappy door, which when you move these guys to here and unlatch, which I apologise for what might be lurking behind this door because it hasn't been opened this year, and various creepy crawlies do tend to make this their home over the winter. So if you bear with me and try and ignore the probably masses of cobwebs. And then we put a tablecloth on it, and we put pictures on the walls, and we kind of dress it to suit what kind of party we're having. It does look like you could be in Morocco or Rome or somewhere not London. And it's a lovely place to have dinners in the evenings in the summer. It really is quite magical. The difference that a lighting consultant can make to your scheme and to the sort of atmosphere of your house is immeasurable. Everyone likes a song title that has their name in it. Lucky for me, it's a pretty good one, and I've just always wanted a neon sign. My brother very kindly got it for me for my 30th, and I must say I'd envisaged that I'd just get the writing, which is actually my mother's handwriting. I thought it would then screw straight onto the wall, which obviously you can do, but what I didn't realise is if you do that, you can't actually take it with you. It has to stay there forever until someone breaks it off, or so I've been told. So it was mounted on this board, which means I can take it wherever I want forever. Obviously, so nice to have a dressing table of sorts, and this curved wall, which we had to do for planning permissions reasons, made it slightly hard, so we got the builders to whack up these sort of curved shelves to go with the curve of the wall. Because I'm a bit of a traditionalist at heart and really into English sort of country house style, the skirted dressing table is obviously a bit of a throwback, but why it works so well is because open him up and you can hide a multitude of sins under your dressing table. I love it because it is just another opportunity to add in another pattern, another colour, another fabric that I love. This is a very classic fabric from Le Manac, but also it means you can hide all of the unwanted shoes and bags and whatever else it is under there. So I would say that's a really good tip. These lamps are part of the ceramic lamp collection I mentioned earlier from this guy in Finland. So we sell these. These are to our design in various colours. I'm a big lover of brown furniture and antique here and there, and just bringing in sort of a bit of history. I think every room benefits from it. And so this lovely sort of scalloped fronted mirror I found on eBay. This is one of my favourite fabrics, which is from a South African company called Ardmore, who are now represented in London by Colony. And they just have the funnest, most beautiful fabrics with these prints, these African prints, and needless to say it involves a leopard, but I was so delighted to be able to use this somewhere in my house, and I think it works really well as the headboard. There's not a huge amount of space for a deck bedside table, certainly not a bedside table that you're going to be able to keep anything in. So in keeping a deck space behind your head, that allows you to keep all your books, with big readers, keep all your books, your glass of water, whatever it may be, just affords you a bit more space when you're working with tiny parameters as we are here.